For decades, longevity research seemed confined to the lab bench, scientists isolating molecules, testing theories in fruit flies, mice, and cells, and publishing dense articles about metabolic pathways. But in recent years, a quiet revolution has taken place. Insights from aging science are no longer locked in academia. They're starting to appear in our kitchens, on grocery store shelves, in personalized nutrition apps, and even in public health strategies. The promise of adding not just years to life, but life to years, is moving from theory to practice. And perhaps nowhere is this more visible than in how diet advice is evolving, especially under the influence of regions like Salento, Italy, where long, healthy lives are still part of the cultural fabric. In Salento, the Mediterranean diet isn't a trend, it's a tradition. Meals are based on legumes, whole grains, garden vegetables, olive oil, herbs, and modest amounts of fish and cheese. What's striking is not just the nutrient density of the diet, but its rhythm and context. People eat slowly, often together, at predictable times. They cook with fresh ingredients and avoid processed foods not because they're told to, but because they've never needed them. It's this synergy of nutrients, habits, and cultural meaning that nutritional scientists are now trying to decode and replicate. Studies from longevity hotspots like Salento have revealed powerful correlations between dietary patterns and slower biological aging. For instance, polyphenol in extra virgin olive oil have been linked to reduced inflammation and oxidative stress, two of the main drivers of age-related disease. Compounds in herbs like rosemary and oregano, regularly used in southern Italian cooking, are being studied for their neuroprotective properties. Even the fermented sourdough bread common in this region affects the gut microbiome in ways that may support immune function and metabolic balance. Now, these findings are informing the next generation of dietary recommendations. Rather than simply counting calories or avoiding fats, modern nutrition advice is beginning to emphasize food quality, synergy, and timing, all hallmarks of traditional diets that promote healthy aging. The once vague call to eat more vegetables is now supported by metabolomic data showing that certain phytochemicals directly influence gene expression related to inflammation and cellular repair. This translation from lab to plate is also reshaping consumer products. High polyphenol olive oils are now labeled and marketed based on their antioxidant content, while supplements mimicking the benefits of Mediterranean compounds like resveratrol, quercetin, and omega-3 fatty acids are increasingly available. Though whole foods remain the gold standard, targeted supplementation is proving useful for individuals with dietary restrictions, chronic conditions, or higher biological aging markers. Meal planning apps and wearables are also incorporating longevity science. Platforms using AI to analyze your blood tests, microbiome, or genetic predispositions can now recommend food choices that optimize health span, like lowering advanced glycation end products or balancing short-chain fatty acid production in the gut. These tools represent a new form of personalized nutrition, one that merges data with tradition. On a larger scale, public health policy is slowly integrating these insights. Several countries are now rethinking food pyramids, shifting from macronutrient-focused models to those based on dietary patterns observed in healthy aging populations. In parts of Italy and Greece, regional initiatives are protecting traditional farming practices and promoting local, seasonal eating not only as cultural heritage, but as a health imperative. School lunch programs, hospital menus, and even urban planning efforts are increasingly influenced by findings from longevity studies. This practical turn in nutrition science also carries an empowering message. You don't need to wait for a breakthrough drug to extend your health span. You can start with what's on your plate. Small, consistent choices, extra vegetables with lunch, a drizzle of real olive oil instead of seed oil, choosing beans over processed meats, can, over time, shift your biological trajectory. Not dramatically, not overnight, but meaningfully. The biology of aging is not fixed, it's dynamic and responsive, especially to lifestyle. In the end, what longevity research teaches us through places like Salento is this: the most powerful medicine may not be a pill, but a way of living. And through the lens of science, we're now beginning to understand why that way works and how we can bring it into our daily lives, one meal at a time.